Solve cos 4x equals 0.6 for 0 degrees less or equal to x less or equal to 360 degrees. Give answers to one decimal place. As usual, we're going to say cos 4x equals 0.6. Divide both sides by cos, so we get 4x equals 1 over cos times 0.6, and that becomes cos to the power minus 1, 0.6 is 4x. So therefore 4x, we now need to find this. So cos, if I bring the calculator in, I just want to look at the cos of 0.6. Turn the calculator on, shift cosine, complementary sign, 0.6, and you get 53.1. So 53.1 degrees is what we got. But if I draw quickly what's going on there, 53.1 degrees, using my cast, this is 90 degrees, 0 degrees, and obviously 360 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. The 53 is here, and that is 0.6. If I trace it down, so this is where the cos is positive, because cos is just measuring the x value here. So that's the point in the circumference of unit circle. So I'm using cast where the radius is 1. So radius is 1, and cos is positive here and cos is positive here. Sine is negative because, think about it, this is positive x and x is cos of x. So that's the positive side. This is 0 here. On this side, cos will be negative. Cos x will be negative because it's a negative direction. So we're using the x-axis for cos and the y-axis for sine because the radius is 1. Because the trig ratio is a ratio between opposite over hypotenuse for sine, adjacent over hypotenuse for cosine, and since the hypotenuse is 1, so it's just the adjacent. So this is the x value. Right, and also the other one, it will be here. That'll be another cos here, so this will be 0.6. So that'll be positive. But if you go in this direction, if you like, so that'll be 0.6 minus, which we don't want. And if you go in that quadrant here, again, that'll be 0.6 minus. So we don't want that. But the way we measure angles is we measure angle from 0 degrees all the way in anti-clockwise direction. So we measure that one, so that's good. That's 53.1. And then the next one will be go all the way to there. So those are the two angles we're interested in because they're positive, those ones and those ones. This will be minus 0.6. We don't want that and we don't want that. So that would be, well, 360 minus 53.1, and that will be, this angle here will be 306.9 degrees, while this one is just 53.1 degrees. So those are the two angles that we need to work with. So 4x will give us 53.1 degrees and 306.9 degrees. So that's really important to identify that because we're using cast diagram with a unit circle, which means the radius is 1 and all is positive, sine is positive, tan is positive, and cos is positive. So cos is positive, positive here, or you can see from the x-axis. The x-axis represents cosine and the y-axis represents sine, and so the x-axis is here negative, so it couldn't be any of those because we got positive value. And therefore that's just for 4x. 4x equals to that. Otherwise, we have to multiply all that by 4 for 4x. So to make this 4, you have to times that by 4, times that by 4. But the question wants us to do 0x and 360 degrees. So we have to divide this by 4. So that will be x equals 13.3 degrees if you divide that by 4. And if you divide that by 4, it will be 76.7 degrees. So that's what happened. Those are the two values we need. Now we need to carry out the important functions here. We need to do two important things here. One for the 13.3 degrees. So I'm just going to draw that and draw that. So one cast diagram for that, another cast diagram for 76.7 degrees. So I just do another cast diagram for that and another cast diagram for that. So right, so we need these two cast diagram, one for the 13.3 degrees. So when we roughly get the 13.3, so let's say this is the 13.3, so it's just an estimate, right? So that's just an estimate, 13.3. And the other 13.3 on this direction. So again, that's an estimate. So because if you reflect that to there, you get 13.3. There we go. So this is 13.3 there, and that's minus 13.3. 13.3 and 13.3. For that one is there, and for that one it's going to be that one. So this one will be 13.3 degrees if you go all the way there, and then if you go all the way to there, what will that be? So if you go all the way to there, it will be 180 minus 13, because this is 0 degrees, 90. 180 degrees, so that will be 180 minus 13.3 degrees, so that's 166.7 degrees. So that's the other angle we need, and then we need to find another one that goes all the way from there all the way to there, and that would be 180 plus 13.3, so that will be 193.3 degrees. Yes. And then the final one is to go here. So you go all the way from the 0 all the way to there. So that will be, 360, that's 360 degrees. Take away 13.3. So you shall get 346.7 degrees. So those are the x values that is recommended that start with 13.3 degrees. So if I were to write this down, it will be, x value would be 13.3 degrees, comma, and it will be 166.7 degrees, 193.3 degrees, and 346.7 degrees. So you will get 4 values for just one x data. And then if second x data, you can guess what's going to happen without me doing it. So let's do that. So the second x data with 76 is going to be there, right? So it's just an estimate, 76. And a reflection on that, actually, do extend the line and makes life easy. So extend the line, there you go. So with this angle is 76, corresponding angle will be 76. If this is 13, corresponding vertically opposite angle, vertically opposite angle will be 13 as well. If this is 13.3, vertically opposite angle. If this is 76.7 degrees, vertical opposite angle. Likewise, if that was obviously reflected on there, so let's just do that. So again, this is just a rough estimate diagram. It's not meant to be perfect. Again, so that's 76 there, 76.7 there, 76.7 there, and 76.7 there. So that's 76.7 degrees, and what I need to do is take away, this is 90 degrees by the way, and that's 0 degrees. This is 180 degrees, and that's 360 degrees. Take away 76.7 degrees from 180, I'll get 103.3 degrees. 103.3 degrees. And here we're adding 76.7 degrees to 180 degrees. That will be 256.7 degrees. And here I'll take away 76.7 degrees, that's 76.7 from 360, that will be 283.3 degrees. So those are the angles that I need that goes with the 76.7. Both came from that, as you can see, because we measured in anti-clockwise direction. So this one is going all the way from that 76 degrees, 103.3 degrees, 256.7 degrees, and 283.3 degrees all together now. So we can now see the answer to the question, x equals, so you start with 13.3 degrees. The next number that goes along is 76.7 degrees, and the next number will be, well, 103.3 degrees, followed by the next number, which is 166.7 degrees, followed by the next number, 193.3 degrees, yes, followed by the next number, which is 256.7 degrees, then 283.3 degrees, and 346.7 degrees. So remember, these are the x values, right? This is x values because that's, of course, 4x equals 0.6. So I could test those values. All these are x values. So let's test them to see if it makes sense. Right, I don't know if it does, but we can check. Cos 13.3 times 4, because it's times 4, isn't it? Close bracket. You get 0.599. One decimal place is 0.6. Right, let's try another one, maybe 193.3. Again, so you do cos 193.3 times 4, because it's going to be x, 4x. Right, close bracket. Again, 0.59. Let's try 103. So try that. So cos 103.3. Yep. Times, don't forget to times it by 4. Again, 0.59. Awesome. Let's try this one. Cos. Right. Oops. Cos 283.3 times 4. Close bracket. Again, 0.59. So those are the x value that satisfy that condition for when you have 4x, obviously cos of 4x equals 0.6.